right? Now, some people will see this immediately. Other people will have to make the factor trees and figure it out. It does not matter. But all of you are capable of seeing that this 24, remember yesterday I said factoring wasn't factor trees, right? Now we're looking for pairs. But you could factor tree this out, get that it was 2 cubed times 3, factor this out, get that it was 2 to the 4th, and recognize that 2 cubed is the common factor. We did that like 10 lessons ago when we did GCF and LCM, yes? We could all do that. If we were to make a factor tree, you could all tell me that this has a GCF, I'm not going to say of, it equals 8. Everybody cool? Everybody understands that, right? Okay. Now, what if I put an x there? What math is happening between the 24 and the x? Multiplication, which means 24 and x are both factors of something, yes? Since we don't know what x is, we don't know the product, but we know these are both factors of that product. Does everybody understand? Okay. What if I put a 4 there? Now, what are the factors here? 24 is one of the factors. And then what? And then 4 x's. Agreed? Everybody's cool with that? Okay. What if I put 2 x's there? Now, what is the common factor between this whole thing and this whole thing?
8x squared.
It is 8x squared because this guy, we know 8 was 24 and 16, and this guy has 4 x's, this guy has 2 x's, and you can see that 2 of them are common. Can everybody do this? Yeah? Okay, prove it. I'm going to give you 2 more. 18x cubed y squared and 39x squared y. Tell me what the GCF of those two is. You've said 2 different things, Gurveer. Do me a favor, don't say anything out loud until you're sure, because I'd like other people to try it before you holler out an answer, especially when you're going to change your mind. Okay? I want everybody to be able to try it without any harassment or fear that you are not doing it fast enough, because there is no speed limit here. And I want to see if you can apply the knowledge that you all said you had here, apply it here. Because everybody said they understood how to do the first one. So unless you were all liars, you should be able to do this one. Yes, it does. It's 13 times 3. That's why I chose 39, because it only has 4 factors. 1, 39, and 13, and 3. So, what is the GCF? We already know that it is 3. And? X squared y. Why is it x squared y? I can plainly see this guy has 3 x's. But this guy only has 2. So the biggest amount of x's that are common are x squared. This guy has 2 y's. This guy only has 1 y. So the biggest amount of y's that is common is 1 y. Can everybody do this? Yes? Do we try one more before we actually go to what we need to be able to do? Let's do one more. Let's go with 32 x cubed y to the 4th z and 48 x y xy squared. What's that one? Don't say it out loud. Let everybody try it and see if you are right. You may whisper with the person sitting beside you, but don't holler out an answer. It's a tricky one. Yes, it is. That's the right number. See you later. Watch the video. So what is the number? Do people know? What do you think it is, Abby?
The answer?
Just the number part of it.
2 to the 4th?
No. Oh, 2 to the 4th. Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear the 4th. So it is 16, because 2 to the 4th is 16. Because remember, we want it simple, right? How old are you? I'm 2 to the 4th years old. How old are you? I'm 16. Which one's simpler? 16. And what are the letters? X, Y squared. Why not the Z? I can see a Z right there. Because there's no Z in the other one. Can everybody do this? Yes? Okay. Now, how did you find... Now, okay. I'm going to stop there. Everybody can find all these GCFs, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this knowledge and we're going to apply it to polynomials. Okay? And it's not very difficult. The first thing we are going to do when deciding if we are going to factor is we must decide on the GCF of the entire polynomial. So you look at that first one. What is the GCF of this entire polynomial? Now, what do I mean by GCF? Pretend like there's a sign between these numbers. That's all we're doing. So if I asked you like 5 lessons ago to tell me the GCF of 5x and 5, what is it? 5. So step 1, we find the GCF. I want you to do that for the next 3 by yourself. Don't say it out loud, just write them down. Ooh, lucky me. I know a great many of you have all 3 of them. A few of you probably don't have all 3 of them, but you have a couple of them. So, let's go. What is the GCF here? 3. What is the GCF here? 3. No X out here, Nino.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And the GCF here? 2x. Does everybody see how we find a GCF? You can all do it, right? Everyone can find a GCF. You must stop me if you can't do that step. Excellent. All right, the next thing we do is we divide the entire polynomial. I'm just going to write poly because I'm lazy. By the GCF. So, this is my polynomial, 5x plus 5, and I'm going to divide the entire thing by 5. So this is the work that you do. Normally, you're not going to bother showing me this work because you are going to be doing it in your head at your level. Okay? But for note take, I'm going to make you show me your work. So what would this one be? Do this right here. So the whole polynomial is 6x plus 3, and I'm going to divide by the GCF. Do the next 2. No problem, right? And then we write our answer in the following form. We answer in this form. You write the GCF, then a bracket, and then what do you call the answer in a division question? The answer in addition is a sum. The answer in a question is a difference. The answer in a multiplication is a product. Does anybody know the answer of a division question? Wayne. Quotient. Yes. So we write the GCF, and then we write the first quotient. Quotient 1 plus or minus whatever it is, quotient 2. And we stop when we run out of quotients. So I just put an N because you don't know how long your polynomial is going to be. Does everybody understand? So this first one is going to be the GCF, which was 5, bracket. What's the first quotient? X. What's the second quotient? 1. Done. Everybody good? Well, let us do the next one. What was the the GCF, Paige? 3. So we write 3. What is the first quotient? What is 6x divided by 3? 2x. What is 3 divided by 3? 1. Everybody good? Do the next two. Check your work. Make sure you've done it correctly. Now listen to me. Everybody listening? If you're listening, you're not writing. Listen for a second. For this entire unit, there is one question that you never, ever, 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 I'm done there, ever need to ask me. And that question is, Mr. Myers, did I do this right? And here's why. What is 5 times 1? Or 5 times x? 5x. What is 5 times 1? 5. Did I do it right? You take 1 second to check your work. If it doesn't expand back to what you started with, did you do it right? No. So do you need to ask me if you did it right? No. 3 times 2 is 6. X. 3 times 1 is 3. 6x plus 3. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. That should be a plus. Everybody good? That is what you will do in all 4 versions of factoring that I teach you. You simply reverse the process at the end. All right? Now, there's a little bit of white space here, yes? In this little bit of white space here, I'm going to get a very thick felt. I'm going to go with purple. And I'm going to write the following word. Always do this type of factoring every chance you get. No matter what you're doing in math, if you can do this factoring, you do it. Just like if you ever saw this fraction in math, you would always simplify it to 3/4. Right? Always. When? Always. If you can do GCF factoring with any polynomial, you do it. When? Always. First thing you do every time. Clear? All right. Let's look at this. All of you should be able to tell me in 1 second what the number is there. 5. What's the letter? X? Any Y's? Why not? I can see that guy has a Y and that guy has a Y. 15 has no Y, so Y is not common. Have we chosen our GCF? So now we got to divide everything by it. 5x, 5x, 5x. And then we rewrite 5x there, and then all of our answers. What's this one going to be? 5y plus 3x minus 6xy squared. Now, technically, this is written in the wrong order. Do you think I care? So hurtful, Paige. Of course I do not. What's the GCF in B? 2. So what do I do with every one of those? Divide it by 2. And what do I get?
4 plus 5a plus 3 squared.
That's it. That's GCF factoring. It's the first kind of factoring you do. You did it yesterday. If you were here, you did it yesterday when we broke up these with our algebra tiles. And you will notice those are 2 of the examples I did today. It's almost like I planned it. Dun, dun, dun. Now, okay. C is weird. All right? Because you can all look right away and see what the number is, right? What's the number? 5. What are the letters? CD, right? Everyone agrees? Okay. So if we took the 5 CD right now, which is the greatest common factor, isn't it? Because positive 5 times negative 4 gets me negative 20, right? 5 is bigger than negative 4. We all know that, yes? Right? Okay. So if we were to divide all of this by 5 CD, we would get, what would we get? We'd get 5 CD, and what would the first one be?
Negative 4c cubed.
C cubed. Then what?
4c cubed.
I got the 4c cubed right there, Gervier. Then what?
6c squared d.
Negative 6c squared d. Then what?
Plus 5. Or
Minus 5. Does everybody agree? Okay. Now, this is called GCF factoring, right? Greatest common factoring, right? We've taken care of the greatest. It's 5. But you will notice 3 negatives, yes? Which means negative 1 is also a factor there. Does everybody follow me? So, math guys do not like, negative 4, negative 6, and negative 5. Math guys don't like this negative. They don't want it there. Okay? If all, technically, math guys don't like a negative there. If you ever, and maybe you want to put a star there, and maybe you want to say, if the first term is negative, then we like to get it out of there. So that means all of these would divide by -1. Does everybody understand? So if I divide by -1, I'm bringing a negative out here, aren't I? What is +5 times -1? So my answer is -5CD, and this is 4C squared, then what?
6C cubed squared.
Plus 6C squared, because -6 divided by -1 is positive, and then,
You raised to D.
oh yeah, sorry, D, and then +5. Now,
Do you only divide by -1 if the first term is negative? Doesn't matter what the second or third or fourth.
if the first term is negative,
You always divide.
you're going to divide it out.
It doesn't matter what kind of factoring you're doing. It's the same.
Yeah. Okay? And that's just a rule math guys have.
What if the first term's negative but all the rest are positive?
Well, I was just going to show you that over here. It's exactly what I was going to show you. So -6x minus 3. The GCF is 3, right? So I'm going to divide both by 3. 3, -2x minus 1. Yes? They're both negative, so we would bring out a -1, or we would do -3 at the very beginning. What is -6 divided by -3? +2, and -3 divided by -3, +1. Everybody cool? That makes sense, right? Because negative, there's a 1 that's common to both of them that is negative, right? Now what Paige is asking is, what would you do if it was this? -6x plus 3, right? This bothers us. So we agree that it's 3. Divide by 3, take out the 3, -2x plus 1. That is, and please listen to me and understand, that is right. Okay? But math convention. We all know what convention means, right? It's an agreed upon rule. It's not written down anywhere. It's just something everybody agrees with. Like, for example, we don't write that when we mean the number 7, do we? We never bother with the 7/1 part, right? If I have 1x, we don't write the 1, right? That's what I mean. It's a rule that math people have, and they've all agreed to it. So if you ever have a negative there at the beginning, you're going to want to bring out a negative. So the negative comes all the way to the front. Okay? Everybody understand? We just don't want a negative there. If there's ever a negative at the beginning, so divide it out. But then what? You were the one that just told me you didn't get it.
I don't get it. But I just don't
But-
know why.
Because all math people have agreed that that's what they want to do. I did that whole big speech about it. Like, we all agree that we drive on the right side of the road. Of course, silly me. Abby.
Wait, so if there's a negative on the first one, then the negative just comes out and everything else switches from what it was before?
If that's how you need to remember it, then remember it that way.
But is that right?
Sure. So, now listen, please. What if there's no GCF? Like D. What is the only number that is common to 3 and 2? 1. And X and Y aren't common. If we were to divide by 1 and bring it out to the front, I'd have 1 times 3x plus 2y. Would we ever write that? No. Now, let me ask you this. What if I had negative 3x minus 2y? What would you do with that? Right. You would bring out a negative 1. So you would write negative 1, and what would this be? 3x, and what would this be? Plus 2y. Everybody cool?
You can do that?
Yes. What if I had negative 3x plus 2y? What would you do with that? It's got a negative at the front, so what would you do? Divide by negative 1, because we don't like to lead with a negative. So this would be negative 1 bracket. What's this? 3x. And what's this? Minus 2y. Now, do I need those negative 1s there?
Yes.
I need the 1?
No, the negative.
No, I only need the negative sign. So technically, oops. Those are your answers. Would I deduct marks from you if you left the 1s there?
Yeah. No.
What the hell? Why do you people think I'm like that?
I don't know, man. You're just kind of intimidating, so
Let me get this straight. You write down the right answer, and you think I will take away marks from you.
Yeah.
How are you going to get any marks then, if the right answer makes me take marks away from you?
I didn't get that far.
All right. It says assignment. It's not. Practice it. Now, remember I told you I was going to make you draw it 5 times. This is number 4. So you got to draw this out. I think there is one more that I make you draw in your practice. You'll have to do it once on the test. All right, listen please. This is your only work today. When you get to number 3, some of you are going to say, I can't do that. And I'm going to say, yes, you can. Because it's exactly the same as everything else on this page. Go. I will be coming around and asking to see page 58 and your score out of 12.